As of today, it will henceforth be the official policy of the United States government that there are only two genders, male and female. Trump is back, and he's stronger than ever, with an inauguration unlike any before, a political comeback that has no precedent, and a moment in American history that is sending shockwaves through the nation. The media is going crazy, Hollywood is depressed, the left is having a meltdown, and the establishment is in panic mode. The return of Donald Trump marks a shift and a change, but what is actually happening? Is it a revolution? Is it prophetic? Is it biblical? And will it change America or turn back its decline? What does it mean for the future? And is there a revelation in the Bible that explains it all and how it relates to each of us? I've been asked to speak on this, and I will address everything, revealing a prophetic mystery behind it, one that is coming true now more than ever. We will start by examining what happened at the inauguration, then uncover the biblical revelation that tells us where we are, where we're going, and what we need to know, all leading up to the prophetic mystery. So stay tuned until the end so you don't miss it. I was in Washington for the inauguration, and on that day, NPR, National Public Radio, the government-run media outlet, decided to broadcast a segment about me and the issue of Donald Trump on their news program. I'm going to play it for you, and together, we will uncover a lot. This is Jonathan Cahn, and before I continue, I need to address something. There are fake Jonathan Cahn sites all over the internet, including AI-generated fake sermons that use my voice or clips from interviews with misleading titles meant to attract views and generate money, but they are all fake sites. While imitation may be a form of flattery, this is the real Jonathan Cahn, and this is my only official site and channel. So if you're not receiving the messages I post, prophetic messages, mysteries, teachings, and important words, make sure you hit subscribe now, and I think you'll want to send this message to those who need to see it. So just remember to do that. You can also hit like to get more prophetic updates, and for free gifts, mysteries, or to be part of God's end-time purposes, visit hopeoftheworld.org, which is hopeoftheworld.org. For those who haven't read my books, The Harbinger, The Paradigm, The Return of the Gods, and The Dragon's Prophecy, they are available almost anywhere, online or in stores. I just shared this revelation, and you're about to see it recorded live at my congregation, Beth Israel at the Jerusalem Center in Wayne, New Jersey, and I'll come back at the end to discuss more with you. Daniel 2 verse 21 states, He changes the times and the seasons. He removes kings and establishes kings. He gives wisdom to the wise and knowledge to those who have understanding, reminding us that God removes kings and places kings in power. In Washington, it was freezing, Arctic weather, just like here, making me wonder where global warming is when you need it, since everyone stayed indoors. Yet Washington was still filled with believers, and while most were inside, I saw so many walking around, which tells you something is happening that has to do with God. There was a change in the air. During Trump's last inauguration, Washington was flooded with massive protests, from the Women's March to Madonna threatening to blow up the White House. But this time, there was only a small, weak demonstration, and near my hotel, I actually felt sorry for the protesters. As Donald Trump would say, very sad. Very sad. The day began with a church service, and while I don't know how biblical or unbiblical that particular church may be, I have to point something out. Jeff Bezos of Amazon, Tim Cook of Apple, Sundar Pichai of Google, and Mark Zuckerberg of Facebook/Meta all went to church. Think about that. Because of Donald Trump, these billionaires all went to church, and anyone who can get those four to attend a church service has already accomplished a miracle. The media, of course, had their own motives, and we all know that, but they went crazy, pointing out that all these billionaire tech oligarchs were now aligning with Trump, despite having no problem when those same billionaires aligned with Biden. Joe Biden, in his last speech, warned of a rich oligarchy unduly influencing democracy. And while that may be true, it's ironic that Biden himself awarded the Presidential Medal of Freedom to the one billionaire oligarch most responsible for unduly influencing democracy, George Soros. Furthermore, Biden awarded the medal to individuals who advocate for the destruction of gender and the killing of babies. Speaking of which, Cecile Richards, the most prominent abortion leader in America and the former head of Planned Parenthood, passed away on the same day Trump was sworn in. Was that a sign? Even the New York Times couldn't help itself, as their headline for Trump's inauguration read, "A felon is sworn in as president." Yet when Joe Biden was inaugurated, the New York Times didn't run a headline saying, "Plagiarizer sworn in as president." Even though Biden had to drop out of one of his first presidential campaigns because he was caught plagiarizing speeches from a British politician. That's the biased media for you. And if you're looking for unbiased journalism from the New York Times or mainstream media, you must be new to this planet. At the inauguration, Franklin Graham led a prayer and said something that you've heard me say before, and I was so glad he said it. America cannot be great again if America turns away from God. That statement is the core of everything. Where we are, where we're going, and what happens next. Joe Biden was right there, listening. Yet he didn't look happy, and Kamala Harris didn't look happy either, nor did her husband, nor did Barack Obama, whose wife, Michelle, was so unhappy she didn't even show up. And Hillary Clinton sat there stone-faced while Bill Clinton looked confused, and George W. Bush looked amused. The only Democrat who wasn't miserable was Jimmy Carter, because he wasn't there. When Trump was sworn in, some people noticed that he didn't have his hand on the Bible, and believers pointed it out. But the truth is that it wasn't intentional, as he had both his mother's Bible and Lincoln's Bible, which Melania was holding, but when he was told to raise his hand, he wasn't specifically instructed to place it on the Bible. Yet, ironically, the same media that spends all year long attacking the Bible suddenly cared about whether Trump's hand was on it. Meanwhile, Obama put his hand on the Bible, Biden put his hand on the Bible, and then they went on to act against almost everything inside it. I'd rather have someone who doesn't put his hand on the Bible but upholds what's in it than someone who does but then attacks it. Yes, I wish Trump had placed his hand on the Bible, but what matters more is what he does. His speech was powerful, yet the media called it dark, with one cable news channel, MSNBC, I believe, claiming that Trump was painting the world dark and apocalyptic, like a cult leader. But really, if we think about it, isn't this the same media, the same Democratic Party, and the same Hollywood elites who spent months declaring the end of democracy, the end of America, and apocalypse? We're going to break it all down, and by the time we're finished, you'll see the prophetic mystery behind all of this. Stay with me.